Okay, so once upon a time, not too long ago, I built $1 million real estate business as a single agent, and I was running on 90% profit margin. Okay, while the biggest teams in my market were barely hitting 20, 30% margins. Think about it. I was crushing them on both top and bottom line revenue. Okay, but if I had it all to do over again, there's one thing I would never ever do again. In this video, I'm going to reveal why I'd never cold call if I could start over. Even though most agents think it's mandatory, what you need to do instead if you want to hit 10 listings per month, and explain why this single change could be the very difference between burning out and building a business that grows without you. Let's go. But first, let me show you what your Tuesday morning looks like right now versus what it could look like. Because when you see this contrast, you'll never want to go back. All right, picture this. It's 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. Your coffee's getting cold on your desk. You're staring at a list of 200 phone numbers, knowing you need to make at least 100 calls to hit your goals today. Your stomach tightens up because you know what's coming. Hey, this is so-and-so with whatever real estate company. I noticed your home in the area. Wondered if you'd ever thought about selling. Click. Hello, I'm a local real estate agent and not interested. Click. And this goes on for hours. Okay. After a while, you've made 50, 60 calls and you know you've got a 10% pickup rate. So you've only talked to 5, 6 people over that time. You've had 3 decent conversations that basically went nowhere. Yeah, you're building your long-term business, but this is the grind, okay? You got 2 people that said, maybe call me back in 6 months, and you feel like you need a shower and a nap. But here's the thing. This was my reality for years. I was making those calls, grinding it out, and yes, it worked. I built $1 million business, but let me tell you what I didn't realize at the time. I was doing everything in my business, everything. I had an incredible executive assistant who kept me organized, but the lead gen, the prospecting, the follow-up calls, the listing appointments, the showings, the negotiations, it was all on me. And I was proud of that. I was proud of my business. I was proud of those 90% profit margins while I was beating all the teams in my market. I was outselling teams that literally had 20 agents, literally more volume than there. But there was a problem I couldn't see back then. I was the bottleneck. I was the bottleneck in my own success. Every lead had to go through me. Every conversation had to happen with me. If I wasn't dialing, nothing was happening. If I took a vacation, my business went on vacation with me. And here's the biggest thing. It took me 15 years to build that $1 million business. 15 years of grinding, cold calling, doing it all myself. But if I had realized what I'm about to show you back then, I could have done it in 3 to 5 years. Now, let me paint a completely different picture. It's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Your phone rings. Your caller ID shows it's Sarah, the person you hired to handle your prospecting for you. Hey, I got Lisa on the line. She's been thinking about selling for the past month. Her husband just got a job transfer. They need to be moved by the end of the quarter, and she's ready to meet this week and discuss listing her home. You take the call. Lisa's motivated. She's got questions about pricing, about timing, about what the process looks like. This is exactly the conversation you love having because you can actually help her solve a real problem. By 10 a.m., you've scheduled a listing appointment for Thursday at 6 p.m. At 10:15, Sarah calls again. Hey, I've got Mike here. He's been pre-approved for $400,000. His lease is up in 60 days, and he wants to start looking at homes this weekend. Another motivated prospect, another great conversation, another appointment scheduled. And by noon, you've talked to 4 qualified prospects, set 3 appointments. Meanwhile, Sarah, she's made 200 calls, identified the motivated buyers and sellers, put the lukewarm ones in your follow-up system with specific notes on when to call them back, and handled all the rejection for you. The difference is night and day. Instead of spending your morning getting beat up by rejection, you spend it having productive conversations with people who actually want to talk to you. But here's where the real magic happens. Your business is now growing even when you're not working. While you're at that listing appointment, Sarah is still making calls. While you're showing homes to buyers, she's filling your pipeline with more qualified prospects. And let me tell you something that most agents don't realize. When you're doing work that energizes you instead of drains you, your results skyrocket. You close more listings because you're showing up to appointments excited instead of exhausted. You serve buyers better because you're focused on their needs instead of worried about where your next lead is coming from. If I had it all to do over again, and I get asked this question all the time on podcasts and so forth. Ricky, if you could go back and change anything about your career, what's the biggest mistake that you believe you've ever made throughout your career? And I never really have a good answer until now, until this just hit me in the last 30, 40, 60, 90 days as I've been hiring people in my business and understanding the power of this. Now I actually understand what I would go back and do differently. Now I understand what my biggest mistake was. So if I had it all to do over again, I would have hired other people to make the calls for me from day one. And the funny thing is I actually did this once before. Right there, it was about the year that I sold my first 100 deals in a year. I hired a friend of mine to make calls for me. And let me tell you, it worked so well that within just the first month, he made me so much money. This is a true story, that I bought him a Cadillac cash money. So let me tell you why this approach is so powerful. First, you become infinitely more effective at what you actually do best. Think about it. Are you really at your best when you're making your 80th cold call of the day and some homeowner is screaming at you to take them off your list? Or are you at your best when you're sitting across from a motivated seller, helping them understand their options and building a strategy to get their home sold? And the second reason is qualified conversations convert at a dramatically higher rate. When somebody has already been screened and now you're talking to them, your closing percentage goes through the roof. You're not trying to convince them that they need real estate services. You're talking to people who are. And third, this is a big one. Your expertise actually shines when you're in the right conversations. All those years of experience, all that market knowledge, all those negotiation skills you've developed, they don't matter much when you're getting hung up on during cold calls. But when you're sitting with a qualified prospect, that's when your value becomes obvious. Here's what I've seen happen with agents who make this transition. They go from 2 to 3 listings a month to 8 to 10 to even 12 listings a month. Not because they're working more hours, but because they're working better hours. They're not more talented than they were before. They're not suddenly better at real estate. They're just focusing their energy on the activities that actually move the needle instead of burning themselves out on busy work. And the freedom this creates is incredible. You can take a vacation without your business stopping. You can focus on serving your existing clients without worrying about where the next deal is coming from. You can actually build a business instead of just having a job that pays well. Now, at this point, I know what you're thinking. This sounds amazing, but how do I actually make the transition? How do I find the right people? How do I train them? How do you set up the system so that this actually works instead of just being an expensive experiment? That's exactly what I help agents figure out in my coaching program. We work together to build the systems, find the right people, create the processes that make this whole thing work. I have SOPs, handbooks, and everything you need to put the right systems in place to make this really work for you. And this is where you're going to find your quantum leap in 2026 and beyond. I've been working with agents to implement this exact approach, and the results have been incredible. I've got agents who went from 3 listings a month to 10. I've got agents who are cutting their hours in half while doubling their income. I've got agents who actually look forward to Monday mornings again because they're not dreading another week of cold calls. And it's not just about hiring someone to make calls. There's a whole system around it. How do you write the job description? Where do you find the right candidates? What questions do you ask in the interview? How do you train them? What scripts do they use? How do they know when the lead is ready to be transferred to you? How do you handle the follow-up? How do you track the results? All of that matters. And if you get any piece of it wrong, the whole thing falls apart. So if you're tired of cold calling and you're ready to build a business that actually gives you freedom, I'd love to help you make this shift. There's a link in the description if you want to learn more about working together, or you can go to zerotodiamond.com. And here's the thing. Even if you hire the best callers in the world, it won't matter if you don't know how to convert the leads they send you, right? So watch this video right here to discover the easiest way to convert more listings.